What do you think about the 10 Sefirot? Kind of let's approach it kind of like in a similar way. Like why
10?
What's the process?
What's the process?
What's the process?
Okay, it's also a process.
The number. Let's just say
you're
this
already
is how
leading
God
because
made
you're
it.
assuming it's a process, which it is.
Right.
It is a process. Yeah, the spheres are a process.
What's happening? What's the 10 Sefirot all about?
Well, first of all, every world, and we said there are 4 general worlds, but really there are subcategories, sub-levels of every world.
If you're unfamiliar with the concept of worlds in Kabbalah, we actually spoke about it in depth in the first part of this interview with Rabbi Taub, so make sure you check it out at some point.
The Sefirot are the dimensionality of each world. So within each world, you have the 10 Sefirot. So, for instance, the first Sefirah is Chochma. So you have Chochma d'Atzilus, the first Sefirah within the first world. But you're also going to have Chochma d'Bria, the first Sefirah of the second world, and Chochma d'Yetzira, and Chochma d'Asiya.
All 4 worlds have all of the 10 Sefirot within them.
Right. And not just that they have them, they're made up of them. It's like saying that the physical world has up and down and right and left.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. That itself is a discussion.
Right.
Are the Sefirot ways of measuring, like you would plot on a graph, like let's say, or are the Sefirot a way of measuring dimensionality, or are they the reality itself? Which is another whole discussion. But let's, for utility, for the sake of convenience, let's say that the Sefirot are the worlds themselves. As you correctly stated, the Sefirot are a process. So what that means is every world is the culmination of a process. And then that process, because there are further worlds, that process reiterates itself each time in each world. It's the same process.
So what's the process? Maybe we shouldn't get into the details of. Maybe we'll get into
You want to run through the
details
process?
which you find fun. Like maybe let's talk about the difference between the intellectual, the emotional, and perhaps the action.
Okay.
And maybe we should get into a little details. Like what's the difference between Chochma and Bina, and then
We
Kesser
can run
and
through the
Gevura.
10 and you'll stop me, or I'll stop wherever we get excited. Okay.
Okay.
So we can rattle off the Chochma, Bina, Daas, Kesser, Gevura, Sefirot, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus, that's 10. And I just said a bunch of Hebrew words. We start with Chochma. Chochma is the beginning phase. Now what's funny is we speak about phases before the beginning phase. We call it Kesser, the crown. Like the crown goes on top of the head. Chochma, we translate it as wisdom, but it's not wisdom. Chochma is the birth of a process. The birth of any process is a concept in its most abstract form. So Chochma is basically invention, inspiration. Sometimes it's likened to vision. I see it. I don't really even understand it yet. That's the beginning. Whether you're talking about God getting the idea, quote unquote, for creation, or in a person. We use anthropomorphic metaphors for a reason. That not just because they're relatable, but also because these archetypes repeat themselves within the human psyche. So, in truth, it's not that we're comparing God's process to our process. We're
a product of God's process.
Yes, right. Yes. So the first stage of the process is Chochma, that first initial abstract, very fleeting sort of thought. And as you might well imagine, due to the nature of it, it disappears very quickly.
Can you give an example of where we experience that? As you mentioned.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, the other day I thought of this app. It's going to make $1 billion. Oh, what is it? I can't remember. I can't remember. But if I would have remembered, it would make $1 billion for sure. That's like Chochma. Bina is another intellectual process, but it takes the abstract idea of Chochma and it gives it width, broadens it. Sometimes Chochma is called the father and Bina is called the mother because it's like gestation, it's like pregnancy, where you have this little embryo become a full-fledged human being. So Bina, the mother, takes the abstract concept of Chochma and fleshes it out. That's where you start to have articulation, where you can explain an idea, you can give it examples, metaphors.
So the guy who thought of a good app to make $1 million,
So then the Bina would be where he didn't forget it. He deposited his inspiration in the womb of Bina, and he actually developed, no pun intended, because developers,
Right.
But I don't mean he didn't give it to a developer yet. Developers are the programmers. But he actually did think about what this app would look like, to the point where he could explain it to you. So if you go out for dinner with him and say, tell me about this app, he could talk to you about it for hours. And he could speak to a layman about it as well, because even if you don't know the back end, you don't understand that stuff, but he understands it now well enough that he could explain it to anyone, really. That's Bina. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to do it, because he doesn't really care about it yet. So next is Daas.
or he does care. It's just, okay, next is Daas.
Well, in a very abstract way.
Like when the idea first comes and then you develop the idea, did you buy into it yet? I guess that's what you're saying.
Right. So, he cares enough to think about it, but
Right.
doesn't mean he's going to do it.
Right.
So the Daas is the focus. The focus. So a lot of times people are like, well, if Chochma's the father and Bina's the mother, then who's this third wheel over here? Okay. So Adam Yoda is Chava, the first place where it speaks about Daas, to know, in the Torah is Adam knew Eve, which means physical intimacy, where they had children. So the father and the mother become intimately connected through Daas. What that means is focus. And it's not just focus like mental concentration. It's focus where you're becoming personally oriented to this idea, from this idea, where you start to care about it. And you start to have an opinion. And I use the word opinion not in a dismissive way. People often use the word opinion dismissively. Well, that's just your opinion. Hold on a second. No, opinion actually has something that fact doesn't have. Facts are just facts. Nobody's really passionate about facts. They're just information. An opinion, you'll fight for your opinion, right? Opinion.
Right.
So Daas is where the cold facts start to become a little bit more personal. It's still intellectual, but it's bordering on emotional. And from there, we cross the threshold from intellect to emotion. Daas is the threshold, is the gateway between the intellect and the emotion. But Daas is two-pronged. Why? Because the nature of the emotions is they break apart, they spread apart into two opposite extremes, love and awe. So that then now we're in the world of emotions. So I already said love and awe. So you have chesed and gevura. Chesed is expansiveness. Sometimes we translate chesed as kindness, which it literally is. It really means expansiveness. Gevura literally is strength, but it really means contraction or restraint, containment, self-containment, which is the counterpart to expansiveness. Then on a lower plane than that, you have Netzach and Hod, which are lower level iterations of Chesed and Gevura. Saying, well, isn't that redundant? You already have Chesed and Gevura. Why do you have to have Netzach and Hod? In English, one way you might say is the difference between an emotion and an attitude. Emotions are more substantial than intellect, but they're still just emotions. An attitude is something that will probably end up being expressed or applied or put out there.
I sometimes think of them as instincts. What do you think about that?
Well, then, Netzach and Hod specifically being instincts?
Netzach Hod Yesod.
Being instincts?
Like the instinctive part of the emotions.
Instinctive part of the emotions. Explain that more. Explain that more. Why those three more than Kesser and Gevura? Because I think of instinct as being something that's automatic. That,
right.
Like an animal has instinct, doesn't even know why it's doing it, it just does it.
But he's doing it because the animal's connected to it. Like, he needs to do it. So I feel like sometimes these last three emotional branches, that's like
right.
the way it's. So the Netzach is kind of like victoriousness. You've made that decision that you're going to get this done. So it's kind of like somebody who opens a business and there's all these things getting in the way, but he doesn't care right now. He's going into tons of debt and he has all this stuff piling up on him. He's not supporting his family. His wife just doesn't understand what, but he's pushing forward. He's going to go. So it's not exactly an instinct, but it's more instinctive. It's like some sort of a drive
You're
without
saying,
feeling.
You're calling it instinct in terms of it being more intense, or
I think instinct, because I don't know. I think of instinct sometimes as like an emotion, just without the feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the perfect word, but
Right. I mean, what sounds like what you're trying to bring out is that Netzach Hod Yesod are, their proximity to action. Where it's almost inevitable that they will come to action.
Like somebody who feels that they really like somebody, it doesn't mean that they're definitely going to develop a relationship and buy them a gift.
No, it could just remain a feeling.
Right.
But you're saying when it gets down to that lower plane of Netzach Hod Yesod, it's almost inevitable that it's going to become expressed.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. And then, of course, you have Malchus, which is the expression itself. We mentioned Malchus earlier. We said it means kingship. So in God's case, it's God's relationship with creation. The lowest of the spheres is called Malchus, which means kingship, which really means how God is an executive. That's what a king is, an administrator. And the way that we describe that is how God relates to otherness, or that which is outside of him. Now, obviously, there's nothing outside of him, but relatively speaking, it can be described as other, it can be described as outside. In the human experience, we'd call it self-expression. So everything else is going on internally. Malchus is where I allow myself to be heard by someone else.
So I think when people hear kingship or king, sounds like something very high and ego.
Right, haughty.
Why is it why is this?
Well, a king is
the
a servant.
last one?
Yeah, a king ultimately, obviously, historically, people have abused that power. So, especially growing up in America, we have a certain bias against kings, authoritarian models of government. But a king is really like, King David. He was a shepherd. He took care of the sheep. He knew how to cater to the different sheep. So Moses too. Why were they selected as kings? Because they were good shepherds. What's a good shepherd? He knows how to differentiate. He knows how to take care of the different sheep. So that's what a king really means. And it makes sense that kingship pays attention to differentiation, because the whole point of it is to be the interface with the other. And as we mentioned much earlier, otherness and multiplicity are sort of synonymous in this system. So where you're actually taking into account, let's say you're talking to a room full of 1,000 people and you're trying to connect with all of them. It's very difficult, but that's what Malchus is. Malchus is attenuating, adjusting, making that last minute fine tuning and giving each person what they need. So, as much as we think, oh, the king must be the top, because that's playing cards, the king. There's only the ace is higher than the king, right? The king is, but no, in the Sefirot, the king is the lowest. By the way, I'm sure you know this, but when the Alter Rebbe, first Chabad Rebbe, was in prison, he was being interrogated.
Did a crime or something?
Yeah, well, they said he was aiding and abetting the enemy. The Russian, at that time, the Russian Empire was fighting with the Ottoman Empire. He was sending money to the Holy Land, which was under Ottoman rule, so they said he was supporting the Ottomans. But so once they had him in prison, they started interrogating him about his whole system. And they said, why is Malchus, which is kingship, the lowest? First of all, that wasn't his innovation. Comes much earlier than Chassidus. We're talking about the 1790s. But so he had to explain that, because they were like, that's an affront to the king. You're saying that kingship is the lowest of the Sefirot? So he had to explain that. Similar to how we're explaining it now.
So this is the process of the infinite energy of God
Yes.
making its way down to creation.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it is.
So first, the infinite energy is, like we said in the beginning, just like an idea, just like this small thing which can't be categorized. That's the Chochma.
Yeah, the notion of creation. So it's creator imagining creation, but in a very abstract way.
And then it gets developed a little bit in Bina.
Right.
And then there's kind
Starts
of
to
like
care about it some more.
decision
Daas.
to go ahead and get it done.
Yeah. And then the Kesser and the Gevura, how much to put out there, how much to hold back. We didn't even talk about the Tiferes, which is the harmonization of the Kesser and the Gevura.
Right.
Yeah. And then ultimately you have the birth of a world. And then the process repeats, and you have the birth of another world. These are all, like I said, compounding one on top of the other.
If you like this video and you want to learn more Kabbalah, make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for everything coming in the future of this channel. Also, if you didn't, make sure you see the first part of this interview, and there's actually a third part of this interview where we talk about the depth of why really God created the universe. Stay tuned and see you next time.